Welcome to Oxford Community Television News. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. And coming up in the local news this week, learn what a local little girl earned a Heroes Award in Addison Township. And what do you think about school year-round for the Oxford children?
Stay tuned and learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. Heroes come in all sizes, shapes, and ages, and Anna Clinton, who was 10 on March 16th, was fast asleep in her grandmother's mobile home at the Hidden Lake Estates when she awoke to the smell of smoke and the sight of flames. Anna quickly awakened the family to save her father, grandmother, and 2 dogs from serious injury or death. It was determined by fire officials that cause of fire was from an electrical space heater. Although Anna doesn't feel that she is a hero, Addison Fire Department in Leonard disagrees. Anna will be receiving an award from the department proclaiming her as a real bona fide hero.
Over the years, Oxford has been accredited as a Main Street community. Oxford is the one of 19 communities that are part of the prestigious Main Street Oakland County program. It appears that Oxford has, however, temporarily lost its accreditation because it failed to meet 3 out of the 10 criteria used by the national and county Main Street officials when they're evaluating communities. One of the criteria is having a paid professional DDA Main Street program director who works a minimum of 25 hours per week. Last year, the Village Council voted to eliminate the DDA director's position in order to save money and to build up authorities' reserves. The DDA had 0 cash reserves at the end of 2012-2013. And Bill Dunn, president of the DDA, says given the crisis at the time in the budget, it was the right thing to do.
By majority vote, the Oxford Village Council appointed 2 of its members to the leadership positions. David Bailey was appointed president of the Village Council, and Maureen Helmuth was appointed as president pro tem. Mr. Bailey is one of 2 original elected officials remaining on the council. Except for Bailey and Maureen Helmuth, the remaining 3 members were appointed to fill vacated seats. Since the resignation of previous president Tony Albensi about 7 months ago, the position has remained empty. However, Bailey, as then president pro tem, assumed all the duties of the president by conducting village council business and attending other village, township, and county meetings. Congratulations.
The Northeast Historical Society Museum in downtown Oxford celebrated their reopening last week, and our own Andy Curtis was there.
Hi, we're here today with the Northeast Oakland Historical Society President Ron Brock at the grand reopening of the museum here in downtown Oxford. Now, Ron, do you mind telling us a little bit about what's exactly going on here today?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. This museum has been here for about 41 years. That's when the society also formed.
Okay.
And it basically stayed the same for these 41 years, and it got kind of stale. It really didn't lend itself to large groups to be in here because everything was kind of cluttered and roped off, and people couldn't get to the exhibits to take a good close look at them. So at our board meeting, we decided that we were going to take the month of February, which we usually close to clean, and use it just to rearrange the whole first floor here, which we did. And we made it up into several different vignettes. We got a dining room, a parlor, a children's room, a music room. We have a church scene up here on the mezzanine over the stairway. And we've found that by doing it, it opened the floor space up so much that it looks huge compared to the way it was before. And it was a lot of work. A lot of people worked on it, and I think it turned out great. So this is our grand reopening.
Genesis Credit Union in Oxford is planning to build a 3,000 square foot facility complete with drive-through, and it will be built on current properties located at 114, 118, and 120 South Washington Street. The sites currently consist of 2 residential homes which would be demolished, and a vacant lot construction will be just north of Holy Cross Lutheran Church and south of Coldwater Banker Schultz Realtor. and estimated cost for construction is $1.2 million. Oxford Village Planning Commission approved the plan and passed it on the Village Council to approve the recommendations, and they were approved by Council on March 11th.
This week we give tribute to James A. Sherman Sr. and his wife and partner of 51 years, Hazel. Jim, as he's known, purchased his very first newspaper, the Oxford Leader, in 1955. Since that first purchase, the family-owned second-generation Sherman business has become well known in northern Oakland County for creating a prosperous family-owned publishing empire, including the Lake Orion Review in 1972, the Clarkston News in 1966, the Davison Index in 1976, two weekly shoppers, the Advertiser from 1961, and the Penny Stretcher 1982. Jim Sherman retired in 1993. Sort of. He and the Sherman family business continue to do well. Jim, for all of you and your family, for what you've done for Oxford and Oakland County, a profound thank you. And I'd like to personally thank you. I was an employee for 5 years. And a great family to work for. They've really just been a mainstay in this community forever and ever. And I have to say I was pretty proud working for them.
What did you do for them?
I was a reporter, surprise.
A reporter?
I worked for the Citizen, which is in Ortonville. I was a reporter out there for 5 years. And then I came to Oxford Community for a year and worked with CJ.
Well, that's very interesting to know.
Yeah.
That's something about you I didn't know.
Oh, really? That's why I'm such a nosy girl.
Right. There may be other things, too, down the line that we don't know, but we'll find out on some other day then,
Yeah,
okay?
I'm not telling all my secrets at once.
Okay, that's fine. Terry.
That's it for this news this week. If you'd like to learn more about other stories and these stories, stop by any of your local stores and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader.
Coming up next on OCTV, more news. First with Oxford local sports, then join Dave Kenny with his automotive talk show and Science in the News programs. Right after those reports, I'll be back with your weekly calendar of events.
This is Oxford Community Television News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
That's right.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety said rear cameras are more effective than parking sensors at preventing collisions while a driver is in reverse. An estimated 292 people are killed and 18,000 injured each year by drivers that back up into them, according to the IIHH study just released. Rear cameras reduce the blind spots that lead to such collisions by up to 90%. The study was conducted with volunteer drivers in a parking lot that had poles marked with different color bands to indicate varying heights of children. Poles was placed at varying points behind the vehicle, with the band representing a 12 to 15-month-old child being the hardest to see. Even with the pole as far away as 27 feet, this band could not be seen by drivers using glances or mirrors alone. Right now, cameras appear to be the most promising technology for addressing this particularly tragic type of crash, which frequently claims the life of young children in the driveways of their own homes. That's according to Ron Zuby, the Institute's Executive Vice President and Chief Research Officer. In December, after several delays, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration submitted a revised rule to the White House that would require backup cameras in all new cars sold in the United States. The final version of that rule is expected to be released by January 2015. And just a reminder on last week's story on GM's massive recall of 1.6 million vehicles. GM is now telling drivers to remove all items from their key ring besides the ignition key until repairs are completed, and that even afterward they should not put anything but the car's key fob back on the ring. So watch out. At Chrysler Group said it's recalling about 25,250 Jeep and Dodge SUVs globally to address a braking issue. Chrysler said the recall is being done to improve pedal feel during certain aggressive braking maneuvers. An investigation found brake fluid flow was being restricted too much, and the company said it is updating software to improve the flow and restore appropriate pedal feel. A company spokesman said there have been no reports of accidents or injuries related to the issue. Chrysler said a supplier raised a concern about a part that accommodates ready alert braking, a safety system that primes brakes for optimal response when making a sudden stop. The company said brake function was not lost or out of compliance, but pedal feel was not consistent with customer expectations. Affected models are certain Jeep Grand Cherokee and Dodge Durango SUVs from model years 2012 and 2013. Chrysler said it will notify customers when to schedule service, the cost of which the company will cover. And still at Chrysler, Chrysler Group is recalling about 49,400 full-sized Dodge Chargers for possible overheating of headlight parts. Chrysler said customer service data led engineers to investigate reports similar to those that prompted a 2012 recall of more than 9,600 Charger police cars from model years 2011 to 2012 to address overheating of jumper harnesses and other parts. Chrysler said it is not aware of any injuries or accidents related to either recall. In the latest recall, Chrysler said it will inspect and replace, if needed, at no cost to the owner, the headlight jumper harnesses and bulbs or headlight assemblies on certain 2011 to 2012 model year Charger cars equipped with halogen headlights. Chrysler said it will contact affected owners and tell them when they can schedule service. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
A full life measured in seats starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcat School Update. There's more talk going round about the year-round classes. Governor Rick Snyder suggests in his State of the State message that we take another look at it. He thinks that if nothing else, we can establish a pilot program in this for low-performing schools. He says kids should be given every chance to be successful. The theory here is that kids forget much of what they learn over the summer. Oxford Assistant Superintendent Jim Schwartz isn't so sure. He says that what it really comes down to is the quality of the teacher. He says you can have a year-round type of calendar, but if the teacher is poor, the learning experience is poor. Schwartz admitted that the summer lag can lead to some regression, but kids learn valuable lessons during the summer as well. When families go on vacations or kids play outside, there's learning going on there too. Schwartz says summer is an important time for teachers as well. He says even though they're not teaching, this is an important time to work on curriculum, unit planning, and professional development. Legislation has been signed updating school safety drills. The new law requires schools to have 5 fire drills throughout the year, with 3 before December 1st. Also 2 tornado safety drills, including 1 in March, and 3 lockdown drills, with 1 performed during a lunch period. In addition, schools must implement a cardiac emergency response plan. Nancy Latowski, Oxford Deputy Superintendent of HR, says, as far as the changes, I think it's good. Even though Oxford has been very diligent following those guidelines, apparently there were some districts that were not. It will be necessary to report to a website, Latowski says, that this really isn't a problem, and that we have a great emergency response team in the area, and we will continue to work closely with our police and fire units. Last week, hundreds of Lakeville Elementary students were jumping rope and twirling hula hoops in the Jump Rope for Heart event. This was an effort to raise money for the American Heart Association. The kids collected pledges for funding heart and stroke research and to raise awareness about eating healthy and leading an active lifestyle. Way to go, kids. That's the Oxford Wildcat News Update for this week. Don't forget Beauty and the Beast at the Fine Arts Center, March 19th through the 22nd. I'm John Ochins for Oxford Community Television. I'll see you next week.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised.
Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
And it's Oxford Sports and Oxford News this week. Hi, I'm Jamie Hughes. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. The Oxford boys Wildcat varsity basketball team actually made history February 25th after winning their league title. It's the first time in 30 years they beat Hazel Park 72-66 to celebrate the league title. The boys cut the nets down at the home after a 56-47 win against Harrison February 27th. While the title was already in the bag from their previous win, Henning said Harrison was still an exciting game. Knowing the history of boys basketball crowds in Oxford, it only made the size of the Harrison crowd seem way much sweeter. According to Henning, just to see the people come out and say, be at their last game and support the team was a very proud moment. Held and very humbling. It went a long way, according to the coach. That game meant a lot more than just a regular season game. It really showed the people were behind the team and that the boys had an awesome feeling about playing in the round of districts. They would then go on to face Stony Creek. Again, that would be at Lake Orion High School. Part 2 of that story, the Wildcats varsity boys basketball team saw its magical winning season come to a conclusion as they faced Stony Creek at Lake Orion High School. That game lost 48-30. In the MHSAA District Final March 6th. To prepare for the game, head coach Stephen Henning said his boys had some really good practices. They were very confident about going into the game and started with a terrific momentum. Even at the halftime when the boys were only down by 2 points, Henning said he told his team they were still in the game and right where they wanted to be. The Cougars were led by seniors Charlie Carson and Pat Mertz with 16 and 11 respectively. The Wildcats were led by freshman Jamel Thomas at 12. Alex Hesse chipped in 4, and Dell Alexander had 4 points. For next season, though, Henning said he's quite excited as the core of his entire scoring team will be back on the court. Jamel Thomas will be a sophomore, along with Alexander and Connor Elzerman. They're both returning as boys basketball players. Congratulations for a winning season. Now jumping to the hardwood again with the ladies. The Lady Wildcats got a taste of what it was like to play in district match. They played the Clarkston Wolves, a terrific Clarkston Wolves team, beat them 36-41. Lost after keeping a check for 3 quarters. Oxford 14-7 held Clarkston to 15 points in the first 2 quarters and took 7-point lead into the half. However, during the critical third quarter, nothing ever seemed to go right for the Wildcats after that. Clarkston dominated the quarter with an 18-2 run. The Wildcats battled back and forth, cutting to a lead of 4 points late in the game, but were unable to dig themselves out, and the deficit and created a disastrous third quarter. Clarkston was led by Erica Davenport with 25. Oxford was led by junior Jessica Murphy with 19. Sky Donaldson chipped away at 9 with the Wildcats only 3 quarters held. Miss Davenport was held in check. And talking about wrestling, the 8 individual wrestling state qualifiers, 3 Wildcats came home with all state honors, wearing medals. Congratulations to the wrestling team. Along with any of our programming, we invite you to stay tuned for that on OCTV, or if you miss it on the broadcast edition, check our website out for any one of our sporting contests. That can be at OCCTV.org. Hit the programs tab, and you'll definitely be right there, and you can catch any of the sports that we do have. One final congratulations go out to our bowling team. Division I Michigan State Finals bowling was held on February 28th at the Sunnybrook Lanes in Sterling Heights. It was the last tournament of the season and marks the end of the 2013-2014 season for the bowling Michigan high schools. Again, congratulations to all the bowling teams and their families for coming out to rally on at the bowling match. Again, want to remind you, coming up this Saturday and the following Saturday, we are running basketball marathons from midnight to midnight each day respectively. Check it out. You'll catch every contest, girls basketball, boys basketball, JV basketball, as Bill Service and Mr. Wright do the call. Check it out on OCTV this Saturday and the following Saturday in celebration of March Madness. Anyways, have yourself a good one. Check our website out, OCCTV.org. I'm Jamie Hughes. Till we do it all over again, in the words of Ron Burgundy, stay safe, Oxford.
Hello, BJ Stapp here with Maggie, the fire safety dog from the Oxford Fire Department. Just reminding the residents of Oxford to check to make sure you have working smoke detectors. And if you are in need of smoke detectors, please visit our website or stop in at Fire Station 1 during normal business hours to fill out an application to have a free smoke detectors installed in your home.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, it's never fazed by seeds of doubt. A shrub with small edible berries is a cool customer when parasites attack, responding in line with the severity of the infestation. Each fruit of the barberry has either 1 or 2 seeds, which may be targeted by larvae of the tephrodid fruit fly. Katrin Meyer, now at University of Göttingen in Germany, and her colleagues collected around 2,000 berries and examined them for signs of piercing because the fruit fly makes a tiny hole in the berries so it can lay its eggs inside. If the berries were pierced, the team also dissected them. It was already known that the plant can cut off nutrient supplies to its seeds when resources are limited. Meyer's team also found that the same mechanism was used with infested seeds, killing the parasite in the process. More surprisingly, the likelihood of a seed being aborted depending on how many seeds the berry had. If it had 2 seeds and one was attacked, the plant killed off the infested seeds 75% of the time, compared with just 5% in a single-seeded berry that were attacked. This response makes reproductive sense. Aborting an infested seed in a 2-seeded fruit might save the other one and keep the fruit fertile. But if there is only 1 seed, killing it would render the fruit sterile, and it might be better instead to rely on the small chance that the parasite dies naturally. That's one smart plant. In our next story, are people with obsessive-compulsive disorder addicted to their repetitive behaviors? In a test designed to measure decision-making, individuals with OCD performed much like gambling addicts, suggesting their underlying brain problems may be similar. OCD makes people worry obsessively, compelling them to carry out rituals like repeated hand-washing. It affects about 1 in 50 people and can take over their lives. Because sufferers get anxious if they can't complete their rituals, Sheldon and Big Bang, OCD is usually treated as an anxiety disorder with talking therapies to relieve distress or anti-anxiety drugs. These approaches reduce symptoms, but only a minority of people are cured. In the new study, 80 people, half of whom had OCD, had to choose cards from 4 decks, winning or losing money in the process. 2 decks were rigged to produce big wins but even bigger losses. The people without OCD learned to choose from the 2 safer decks, but those with the disorder were consistently less likely to make good judgments and finished with a significantly lower score. Drug and gambling addicts also performed poorly on the test. That doesn't prove OCD is an addiction, but a growing body of work, including brain scans and other cognitive tests, suggests it should be recast in this way, says Naomi Feinberg at the University of Hertfordshire. Both addiction and OCD share a lack of control of behavior, she says. People with OCD might benefit from taking therapies, talking therapies, and drugs designed for addiction, says Giacomo Grassi at the University of Florence in Italy, who recently presented the work at the European Congress of Psychiatry in Munich, Germany. For example, a compound called N-acetylcysteine, which looks promising as a treatment for drug and gambling addiction, also seems to help in OCD. And you might have guessed it with the winter that we've had, but NASA just released this image of the very frozen Great Lakes taken by one of its satellites on February 19th. A NOAA analysis found that the lakes were more than 88% covered in ice in mid-February, one of the largest freezes in 4 decades. The space agency's moderate resolution imaging spectroradiometer carried aboard the Aqua satellite took the false-colored image that highlights the freeze-up. Analysts combined shortwave infrared, near-infrared, and bands of red reflected from Earth to instruments to create this picture, which highlights the difference between ice, snow, water, and clouds. A NASA release says unfrozen water appears inky black-blue. Ice is pale blue, with thicker ice appearing brighter and thin, melting ice appearing a darker true blue, and snow appearing blue-green. Clouds are white to blue-green, with colder or icy clouds appearing blue-green to blue. Well, we all knew that it was going to freeze. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television. We'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. I'm Terry Stiles.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Service, and I'm the producer of Our Community Access. Terry and I started our show 8 years ago to bring our community into your living rooms.
Our Community Access is a show born from the rich diversity of our community, and we want to brag about it. and the people creating that diversity.
Over the year, we've been from fox hunts to beekeeping and right in your own backyard.
We welcome new businesses, chamber fashion, senior hobbies, class reunions, and much, much more.
We've covered all our celebrations from Leonard Strawberry Festival to our premier Lone Ranger Parade.
But there's still more avenues that we plan on going on.
So watch our community access at 9:30 and 5:30 every day, and you have a great, great week.
Welcome to another segment of the news we call your weekly calendar of events, where we feature your weekly calendar of local Oxford and Addison community events, including charity, special fundraisers, and general community information. Now, if you or your organization would like help to get your message out to the public, contact us for detailed information at our studio phone number at 248-628-9658, or you can go to our website, occtv.org. St. Joseph's School, located on M24 Lake Orion, has 2 paid job opportunities available, one part-time preschool aide position from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. daily, and one substitute teacher position, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or as needed. For more information, call 248-693-6215. Also, another job opportunity, St. Benedict Monastery is looking for an all-around maintenance person for 2 to 3 days a week, with experience in plumbing, heating, carpentry, and electrical repair. For information, contact Father Damien at 248-778-8336. Now, March 17th, get on the Oxford bus and celebrate St. Patrick's Day at Soaring Eagle Resort and Casino in Mount Pleasant. Oxford Parks and Recreation is offering a trip where guests will be treated to a show by the 4 Irish tenors singing your favorite Irish songs. The trip also includes $10 casino play, $5 meal vouchers, and for more information, call 248-628-1720 or go to their website, oxparkrec.org. On Tuesdays, March 18th, April 15th, and May 2nd at the Oxford Public Library, the ever-popular traditional bingo returns. Bring your friends and win an assortment of popular books. For more information, call 248-628-3034. March 25th through May 6th, sponsored and administered by the Oxford Public Library, toddlers ages 24 to 35 months will enjoy stories, songs, rhymes, and other fun activities. You must bring an adult lap for the toddler. Sponsors of this program want to make this a special time for you and your toddler, so please make other arrangements for other siblings. For more information, just call 248-628-3034. If you have a local business, or if you are an individual or an organization wishing to show your support for our local Oxford schools, sports, music, concerts, or any of the many programs broadcast from our TV station, you could become a sponsor or an underwriter on OCTV. A promotional television spot would be created along with recognition given to you by our sports announcers during the event. It's easy and it's inexpensive. For more information, contact our TV station manager, Bill Service, at 248-628-9658, or you can send a message of interest to Bill's email address, manager@occtv.org. We at Oxford Community TV would like our television viewing public to learn more about your public or club organization that's coming up, if it's a charity or whatever the event is. So if you would like to get your special event mentioned in our television show, call us at 248-628-9658 or go to our website at occtv.org. Just one final reminder, you can locate our OCTV program schedule by going to our website, occtv.org, and clicking on schedule. There you will find a list of OCTV broadcast programs, dates and times. One program I would recommend is my good friend Bill Service, who always has interesting local stories and interviews on our Community Access program. Check it out. This is Oxford Community Television, OCTV. I'm your host, Elgin Nichols. We invite you to join us again for the next segment of your weekly calendar of events.